Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Minister of Foreign Affairs looks at his new portfolio. The new Minister of Local Government aims to change the direction of his ministry. And Trinidad and Tobago is seeing an increase in children developing diabetes, as noted by the Health Minister. Thank you for joining us. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Winston Dukaran, says his move from the Ministry of Finance was a timely one. He was speaking with reporters at the commemoration by Spain of the 50th anniversary of the independence of Trinidad and Tobago, where he revealed that he was quite pleased with his new portfolio.
Well, it's almost a natural evolution of the work that I've been doing in the Ministry of Finance, at least in one aspect of that work. And we have already begun to develop a series of initiatives that will complement the work of the financial sector in foreign affairs.
Significant events for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs being revealed by newly appointed Minister Winston Dukaran, who says his new portfolio is somewhat closely related to the work of the financial sector. Minister Dukaran is announcing two major upcoming events, which he says he looks very much forward to attending.
Two particular initiatives that I have been engaged in this week is in the preparation of the meeting of the CARICOM heads of government that will take place next week in St. Lucia. At which time we will be introducing what we call a new initiative for Caribbean convergence, so that we can try and put some life into the Caribbean integration movement and process. The other area has to be a meeting that I'll be attending for one day in New York, and has to do with the treaty, the global treaty that has been worked upon by Trinidad and Tobago as a lead Caribbean country. On the question of rules and regulations and curtailment of the small arms trade in the region and in the world. And therefore, once it becomes a reality, it will give us another pillar upon which we can deal with the issue of the trafficking of ammunition and small arms and so forth.
The new Foreign Affairs Minister is also commending his predecessor, Dr. Suraj Rambachan, for his efforts in creating new avenues for this country. He says while he's comfortable with his new portfolio, there are times when he cannot avoid looking back at the time he spent in the financial sector.
I must say, first of all, I was pleasantly surprised with the work that Minister Rambachan has laid down. I think he has opened many doors in his stint here. And the job now is to convert that open into real initiatives, two of which I mentioned to you earlier. So the challenges are nothing unusual. I think we have very supportive staff, very well-skilled staff, and good diplomats. I think Trinidad and Tobago has a good history of having good foreign policy officers. Sometimes I feel a little nostalgia because we were there in the early days of the reconstruction of the financial sector and the finances. But at other times I feel that it is work that has been done and that we need to move forward now to carry forward this work in an integrated way. So as someone who has been in public life for many years, I don't miss portfolios because I love Trinidad and Tobago.
The former finance minister is predicting a bright future for this country's financial sector, while also highlighting the importance of attracting investors to Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I think it's widely acknowledged that we have been able to fix the balance sheet. We've been able to ensure that the conditions for growth are there. We've been able to provide a sense of comfort to the financial sector, having resolved largely the issue of the threat to the financial sector through TRICO, etc. And in that sense, I expect the economy to continue to progress during the course of the next year or two. Our major problem is to have investment take place in both the private sector, public sector, in Trinidad and Tobago.
Veena Bharath, News 4.
The new Minister of Local Government, Dr. the Honorable Suraj Ratan Rambachan, is aiming to change the direction of his ministry. Addressing members of the various regional corporations, he revealed his plans to make the ministry more people-centered. More from Gregory McBurney.
No one should be in local government if they aren't interested in serving and helping the public. These are the thoughts of Minister of Local Government, Dr. the Honorable Suraj Ratan Rambachan. Minister Rambachan says persons in his ministry should want to make a difference in people's lives and should have a people-centered attitude, just like the one he intends for the ministry to adopt.
I think that it's extremely important that we recognize that local government is really people government. And I will be emphasizing that shift in terms of how we deal with local government. If ever there is an institution that can be said to be people-centered, it is local government. So I rather talk about people government rather than simply local government.
Dr. Rambachan says he has high expectations for his new ministry. He insists that at the top of the list is the satisfying of burgesses and constituents.
My expectations are very simple. One, that people approach their jobs with the highest level of professionalism. That people strive for excellence in everything they do. And above all, in the strive for excellence and in the demonstration of professionalism, that we satisfy our burgesses and we satisfy our constituents. The satisfaction and the happiness of the people we serve are paramount to my function as a minister. And I will do everything that is possible to enhance the environment for you to help me fulfill that mission of satisfying people.
The new local government minister adds that he wants to reinvent the ministry and turn it into a customer-driven local government ministry.
That kind of lack of responsiveness, that kind of lack of attention to the problems of people, I want us to make it a thing of the past. I want us to be one of the most responsive ministries. I want us to be responsive corporations. I want us to go out of our way in order to satisfy people. I want a customer-driven local government ministry and corporations.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
News 4 continues after the break. Stay with us.
Carjacking has become very prevalent in recent times. Certain makes of vehicles are more preferred targets for criminals. When approaching intersections or junctions, ensure that all doors are locked and windows are wound up if possible. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Welcome back. Kariri will partner with South Africa in the development of an enterprise creation facility. The new center will seek to demonstrate how research and innovation can be utilized in expanding the economy through new industries created. Speaking at the sword-turning ceremony for the construction of the new center, Minister of Planning, Dr. the Honorable Bo Tewari, said this process will cultivate and nurture new business markets here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Persons looking to penetrate into new enterprises tailored around a technology-driven market will soon have additional resources to find out the feasibility of their innovative products. This as the Caribbean Industrial Research Institute, Kariri, has revealed plans to build a new center focused on enterprise development, which will be located in Freeport, Central Trinidad. Planning Minister Dr. Bo Tewari, speaking at the ceremony held to mark the sod turning for its construction, said it's all in keeping with plans to move the local economy away from its oil and gas dependence.
Government is focused on providing the support infrastructure for enterprise development, from ideas and product development to feasibility, enterprise creation and incubation. And for this reason, for this purpose, Kariri has partnered with the CSIR, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research of South Africa, to assist in the development of this enterprise creation facility. The facility forms a critical part of the government's national diversification strategy that aims to create and extract higher value from the non-energy sectors. The Center for Enterprise Development will contribute to closing the productivity and innovation gap by providing critical enabling infrastructure that will link research efforts to commercial prospects and to industry innovation.
The center is touted to be the home of activities that will aid in the realization of new industry sectors. Under this, advice will be readily available on the feasibility of project ideas wishing to move to the next level of commercialization. Chairman of the Kariri Board, Hayden Ferreira, says the new center will provide new approaches to the innovation and creation of new industries.
The key operative here, as the CEO has said, is the application of a systematic approach to enterprise creation and not a customary random type approach. Implementation is the mandate of the process. At Kariri, we have expended considerable efforts in developing an appropriate model for the configuration and operation of the center. This has been with the aim of ensuring optimal resource allocation, operational efficiency, and maximum impact, all of which is a very eloquent way of saying ensuring that we get it right.
Minister Tiwari says through the establishment of this center, a better understanding of the various business sectors through research will lay a foundation for further diversification of the economy.
The creation of new growth centers, the mapping of value chains, and the building of production clusters will create the environment for economic sustainability and for enhancing international competitiveness. So I talked to you about the growth poles. I won't talk about that again. I talked to you about the one right here. But the second thing is that at that diversification conference on July the 20th, what we are doing now is mapping out clusters. We can't map out clusters for everything, but we're going to do an example, or maybe two examples, in which we are going to share with the business community, with labor, with civil society, what this thing is about and how it happens.
It's expected that by providing this type of support, entrepreneurship will be given a boost in both micro and medium-sized businesses, integral for the growth of the economy. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Trinidad and Tobago is seeing an increase in children developing diabetes. This was noted by Health Minister Dr. the Honorable Fuad Khan as he addressed a diabetes symposium. The minister noted this was all due to our lifestyle. Gregory McBurney gives us more in this report.
Trinidadians need a lifestyle change. This was the warning issued by Health Minister Dr. Fuad Khan as he delivered the feature address at the Diabetes Association's annual Diabetes Symposium at the University of Trinidad and Tobago's Umera campus. Dr. Khan warned that a study being conducted presently in Trinidad proves that children as young as 5 years old face developing diabetes. As such, parents are being urged to implement better eating habits for their children.
And we have found in Trinidad and Tobago, diabetes is occurring at a very young age. More so that a study was done in Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex and is still ongoing with children between the age of 5 and 7. These children, it has been found, their cholesterol level is higher than adults. Their sugar level, their fasting blood glucose, hyperglycemia, higher than adults. And as Mr. Carlton Phillip indicated, using the tape measure, they are much more obese than other children. And we have come along this route, ladies and gentlemen, because of our lifestyle behavior.
Dr. Khan revealed that data from the University of the West Indies showed alarming levels of diabetes and elevated blood pressure among primary and secondary school-aged children. He also said a recent survey by the Caribbean Food and Nutrition Institute says childhood obesity is on the rise, with approximately 1/4 of primary and secondary school children overweight or obese. Dr. Khan added that this may be because people have become accustomed to being obese.
What one has to understand that active lifestyles, healthy lifestyles, proper eating habits should be the way to go. And I am stressing on proper eating habits because the obesity epidemic, it's real. People have become accustomed to being heavy, to being obese.
Meanwhile, the minister took the opportunity to unveil a new campaign aimed at diabetics. The campaign, titled Save a Limb, is an attempt to decrease the number of amputations caused by complications from diabetes.
I'm going to start a campaign. I would like your support of Save Your Legs. Save your legs, save your limbs. A campaign to save the limbs of diabetic people. Because a lot of amputations don't need to occur. I don't want to use the word are unnecessary, then it's looking at medical negligence. I mean, don't need to occur. Because proper foot care and proper preventative methods will decrease the volume of amputations in this country.
Minister Khan said that while the Ministry of Health offers chronic disease management clinics at all regional health authority facilities, the responsibility is still on each citizen to preserve his or her health. He urged persons to ensure preventative health care is made a part of family life to control the risk factors for diabetes. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
More news after the break.
Before 2007, what we had existing in the Trinidad and Tobago Police was a manual system where the information were placed in books and ledgers. With the introduction of CAPA, all information now is being placed on computers.
You will see how we have been redeployed so more of us can take to the streets on 2 legs and 4 legs, on 2 wheels and 4 wheels, on land and in the air, with the aim of not only fighting crime, but working to prevent crime before it happens.
The initiative itself is focusing on our core services, that being responding to calls for service from the public and being out in the community patrolling to ensure that there is a high level of safety and security within the communities, within the neighborhoods that our officers are patrolling in.
One of the highlights on the calendar of the Ministry of Sport is the annual National Youth Sport Festival. The 19th edition of the event took place at the Eastern Regional Sporting Complex and Eddie Hart Ground in Tacarigua. News 4 Sport was there for the action, and Wayne Cunningham has more.
At the National Youth Sports Festival, there were outdoor activities. And there were indoor activities. Director of Sport, Mr. Dave Bob, gave us a rundown of the disciplines on show at the festival.
Ministry of Sport is celebrating the 19th edition of the National Youth Sports Festival. As you can see, we have hockey behind me, and over to my right at the tennis courts, we have tennis, we have netball, cricket, football, volleyball, and we even trying this year for the first time track and field. On the inside of the indoors, we have karate, again, something new, and we have table tennis.
Mr. Bob gave us a brief history of the festival.
Started off as being the Milo Youth Sports Festival that was held at the Queen's Park Savannah, but it has outgrown that area, and so we felt it best to move it to an area where we have more control and have it under heavier supervision.
The camp caters for youths under the age of 20. The Director of Sport gave us the rationale behind the selection of this target group.
We're not really hoping to extend it beyond under 19s, so, because we feel that is where the talent is, and this is sort of a twofold in whereby we will identify talent and also create an environment for young people to express themselves.
The fans were also pleased with the day's events.
I really enjoyed myself today. I didn't really do nothing, but I enjoyed myself. I watched a match, I watched some run, and I see some play netball. It was very good. Team Ministry of Sports, thanks. Thanks for what you do today.
Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
When we come back, an opportunity to reflect and celebrate. Stay with us.
I bring a message of peace. P-E-A-C-E. It's about patriotism, environment, and citizenship education, calling you or youths between the ages of 14 to 20. Become a trainee in the Peace Program nationwide.
Just 6 weeks of peace training starting 9 July.
Come join us 2 days a week.
From 9 to 3.
Over the age of 18.
You want to be an instructor in this program?
Your training starts from the 25th to the 29th of June.
Interested in becoming a trainee or instructor?
You can call us at 625-2652 or 625-9557.
Or visit us online at peaceprogram2012@gov.tt.
The Peace Program.
Promoting patriotic citizenship.
An initiative of the Ministry of National Security for the 50th anniversary of Trinidad and Tobago's independence.
Welcome back. An opportunity to reflect and celebrate. This is how His Excellency Joaquin de Aristegui Laborde, Ambassador of Spain, sees this country's 50th independence anniversary. Speaking at the Embassy of Spain's commemoration of the 50th anniversary of independence of Trinidad and Tobago in Port of Spain, His Excellency presented initiatives being undertaken by the government of Spain to commemorate the 50th anniversary under the theme Trinidad and Tobago and Spain sharing a past, building a future.
Ambassador of Spain Joaquin de Aristegui Laborde is informing the Honorable Winston Ducaran, Minister of Foreign Affairs, of several projects of significant historical value which the government of Spain is finalizing as its contribution to the country's golden anniversary of independence and in celebration of the Twin Island Republic's Spanish heritage. The government of Spain will be commissioning and presenting the first history book of the Spanish period of Trinidad, sponsored by Repsol, along with a rare donation of a collection of reproductions of historical documents on the Spanish period of Trinidad from the Spanish government's archives, the General Archives of the Indies. In addition, there will be a presentation and temporary loan of the commemorative painting, The Last Meeting of the Cabildo, February 1797, which was also on display. The Ambassador of Spain says his country is indeed very proud of its Trinbagonian heritage.
Spain wishes to celebrate with Trinidad and Tobago this very special year. We believe that this 50th anniversary, this half century of this young and beautiful nation is a very good opportunity to reflect and look back, to take stock of achievements and of challenges. But most important of all, to recall, to remember, to keep well in mind the historical, cultural, and social foundations of this Twin Island Republic.
Since its establishment in 2006, the Embassy of Spain to Trinidad and Tobago has been working with the government and other Trinidadians and Tobagonians to highlight the memory of the 300 years of Spanish presence in Trinidad. The book entitled La Trinidad Española, The Spanish Trinidad, will be translated into English by Dr. Armando Garcia de la Torre from the University of the West Indies and is expected to provide for a much-needed Spanish perspective on the history of Trinidad for the period spanning the 15th and the 18th centuries. Dr. Garcia de la Torre went into some detail on the book.
I am fortunate to have the distinguished honor of translating and editing Professor Morales Padron's book from the Spanish language into English for the first time, with the support of Spain's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation and Repsol. I wish Morales Padron Professor Morales Padron would have been alive to see his book on Spanish Trinidad in English, especially to see it being read in Trinidad. The book Spanish Trinidad begins with the story of Columbus's arrival in 1498 and follows the history all the way to the British conquest of the island in 1797. He sheds light on the lives of the first inhabitants of Trinidad, their contact with the Spanish, the first Europeans on the island, and later the arrival of African descendants who were also instrumental to the economic and social development of Trinidad during the 16th to 18th centuries.
Foreign Affairs Minister Winston Ducaran is also expressing his appreciation to the government of Spain for the contribution, which he emphasized was of significant historical value to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Minister Ducaran is also pledging ongoing collaboration to bring the initiatives to fruition and reiterated the importance placed by Trinidad and Tobago on the bilateral relationship enjoyed with Spain.
Trinidad and Tobago and Spain sharing the past and building the future. The past in the Caribbean is a reflection of our geography, our history, and our politics. And in that sense, the Spanish contribution to that is not only deep and fertile, but is one that we in Trinidad and Tobago look forward with great appreciation and pride.
Vuna Barath, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you so much for joining us.